What is up, everyone? Adrian Morrison here. I want to welcome you to the Profit Power Hour. I'm excited to have you here. If you are new here, you should be able to see my screen coming up right about now. All right, so camera is on. Well, at least my screen share camera is on. And you can see the title of tonight's training. So what we're going to do is talk a little bit about Mother's Day. We're going to do a part 2 to last week. If you're new, you can go back to our YouTube channel or to accessadrian.com into the portal, and you can watch all of the replays. But we had an incredible training just last week on Mother's Day and from ShineOn. So, you know, holidays, celebrations are always phenomenal times to capitalize on selling. And you know, Valentine's Day was huge. Mother's Day is always going to be huge. Then you got, Christmas always going to be huge. You got Veterans Day, which is always a really big one. Also online, so you got all these different holidays that you should always be focusing on. So if you go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Adrian, then you'll see me with Michael over here on the bottom left. You can go watch that replay. It was an incredible training. And what they're doing is showing you exactly how to crush it with their platform, dropshipping some really cool items that are here in the US that ship pretty much anywhere in the world. So make sure that you go watch that. We're going to kind of continue on with that this week. I'm currently in Mississippi right now. I sold my house here. I'm building a different house here, and I'm moving out of my house here. So I'm like just in the thick of it, boxes everywhere. I don't have an office. That's why my camera's not on right now. And yeah, so I'm going to let Michael just kind of run this entire training tonight because he's done this many a times. He kind of knows how things go, and he'll probably shut it down as well unless I pop in toward the end. He's an incredible person, a seller, and obviously he knows anything and everything about ShineOn, what products sell, how to sell those products, and you can get the ShineOn app for free at profitph.com/shine. They do, excuse me, I'm still kind of sick from the last couple of weeks. I had the flu. They do have some upgradable plans that give you some really cool discounts. I definitely urge you to check those out. They make sense for you, then there's a lot of value there. But anybody can get access to ShineOn and start selling with their free plan. So go to profitph.com/shine. Okay. So I'm going to introduce you to Michael over here. Michael, what up, dude? You can pop on. I know you're probably going to have a camera tonight.
What's up?
What up, man? Thanks so much for coming back. Dude, everybody was tripping about your training last week. Like, we got a lot of people in the support box saying that, the training was great. They can't wait to crush it for Valentine's Day. We teased the part 2. Didn't really know if you were going to be able to come back or when you're going to be able to come back. I texted you earlier today and said, yo, you want to do a part 2? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. So thanks for coming here, man. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah, I'm always down. I love this stuff.
I am going to share my screen. I have a kind of a history of chit-chatting and running my mouth a lot and then wasting 10 minutes just kind of talking. So I'm going to try not to do that tonight. I'm going to let you just kind of dive right into it. Did you get the presenter mode?
Yep, I got it.
Cool. Let's make sure we can get your screen shared. And then I will let you kind of do just a very quick intro probably for those that are new, because we get new people on here every week.
Yep.
And then, yeah, so you got a recap up, so that's great. And then I'm just gonna mute myself now, dude, and I'm gonna let you run the show. The Profit Power Hour is currently yours.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Adrian. Have fun moving.
Thanks, bro.
All right, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. If you missed last week's video, I do encourage you to go look at that. We gave a little bit of an intro to ShineOn. We talked about Mother's Day, and I showed a bunch of products that we've seen trending in the past. Now, it'll familiarize you with our catalog and print on demand in general and show you all the opportunity that exists for Mother's Day. So it was really good training. I'd encourage you to go back and watch that. For those of you that are just joining us this week, my name is Michael Christ. I'm the CEO of ShineOn. ShineOn's a print on demand company. What's interesting is I was actually a merchant for a number of years. I started selling with ShineOn in, I think it was like 2017 or 2018. I was a top merchant for a bunch of years. In 2019, I hit this, I call it like a unicorn product. I found this product that was just selling like gangbusters. It sold really, really well. I was hitting numbers I'd never seen anybody else in print on demand hit before. And I got to know Eric, the owner of ShineOn, during that time. And Eric was like, dude, you're breaking my fulfillment. And I had to kind of work with him to get through the holiday season. And then afterwards, Eric actually offered me a job. He's like, hey, you want to come work at ShineOn and run our internal stores and maybe teach the community and things like that? And so I did that. And turns out I've got like 15-year operational background in another company where I did consulting and management and all kinds of stuff. And inside of ShineOn, I immediately went to work helping to build processes, organize the team, set up regular communications and stuff like that internally. And somehow I went from being a merchant of ShineOn to the CEO and an equity holder of ShineOn. So it's been kind of a wild ride. I still don't entirely know how I got here. I pinch myself sometimes because it's been a really cool experience, but here we are. So I've been in your shoes. I have sold these products before. I know what it's like to run Facebook ads and try to find your spot in the market and to run your own store successfully. So I'm here because I want to give you tips that I picked up over the last 4, 5, 6 years, not only selling the products, but working with merchants that have been selling our products. So I'm going to do a very, very quick recap of the training we did last week. Very quick recap. I still encourage you to go watch that training. And then I'm going to get into product research this week. And then next week, I'm going to tell you how to write your own unique phrases. And that's really important. I'm going to explain why right now. So let me take this full screen, get out my little laser pointer here. All right, so let's do a quick recap of what I covered last week. So I talked about how when you're selling ShineOn products, so one of our jewelry items, kind of like what I'm holding up here on the screen, when you're selling one of our products, it's the phrase that goes with the jewelry item that really is the power behind the product, right? So if somebody does get out their wallet and buys your product, it's almost always down to the phrase. It's because the phrase moved them emotionally. So one of the key things I teach everybody is the phrase is 90% of a winning product. The phrase is 90% of a winning product. You need to have a really powerful phrase that's going to evoke emotion in the potential buyer, right? If you can move them emotionally, they're going to be more likely to buy your product. So the phrase is 90% of a winning product. Now, we've got some sayings around ShineOn that we like to repeat that helps us remember how important the phrase is. One of those sayings is, if they cry, they'll buy. If they cry, they'll buy. It rhymes, but it's true, right? If you can move somebody emotionally, they're going to be more likely to buy your stuff. It's the phrase that pays. It's the phrase that pays. And then finally, if they feel it's real. Again, it's back to, you've got to make sure the phrase is moving people emotionally. Moving people emotionally. Now, any emotion is fair game, right? You can make them feel sad. You can make them have kind of a happy cry. For example, let's say they remember a lost loved one, for example. Maybe they have like a happy cry. You can make them laugh. Laughter is always a really good one. You can provoke them to anger. We see anger work on t-shirts a lot of times. Specifically, like you'll always see political t-shirts and things like that. The ones that do well are typically the ones that make people feel kind of angry, right? The political niche is a prime example of using, anger to provoke people. But It can get them to, if you feel very passionately about one particular thing, you might buy a t-shirt that says that thing, and it's, meant to kind of poke other people in the eyeball. Another one is love, right? So love is a great one. With ShineOn products, a lot of the jewelry products, especially Mother's Day, right around the corner, love is a fantastic one. The remembrance niche is also a fantastic one. To my wife is a fantastic niche to go into as we move into Mother's Day. Looking for something here on my screen. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to give you some examples of some products that I've seen trending in spy tools, right? And this is really just to clue you into the type of phrases that you should keep your eye out for. And then what we're going to do after I show you these examples is I'm actually going to share my screen and do some over-the-shoulder training on product research, right? That I think you're going to find really beneficial. And then we're gonna wrap up shortly after that, and I'm gonna set us up for part 3, which is where I'm gonna show you how you can, from your product research, can actually make your own phrases. So that'll be really exciting. So let's get some examples really fast. So what you're seeing on the left is a screenshot from one of the spy tools I use to do product research. And the cool thing about this particular spy tool is it actually shows you social proof on the ads. So you can see here's kind of an ad that was run on Facebook, and you can see it had 151,000 likes, 10,900 comments, 34,200 shares. Anytime you see an ad with that much social proof, it usually means that this product was trending, was popular, and likely, not guaranteed, but likely making sales. You typically don't get this kind of social proof on an ad unless you're the advertiser spending lots of money to boost all the traffic, right? And you only do that when the product is actually making sales. Again, it's not a guaranteed way to know, but it's a pretty good clue. So you can see here, this one was super popular. I've gone ahead and blown up the product in this particular ad. So this is a canvas product, right? I'm going to read the phrase, and you're going to see how you can actually take this phrase and you can apply it to canvas or jewelry or anything else, right? Anything where the phrase is doing most of the work in the selling. So let's read it real quick. When we get to the end of our lives together, the house we had, the cars we drove, the things we possessed won't matter. What will matter is I had you and you had me, right? So I can easily see a product that's like, to my wife. When we get to the end of our lives together, and it can be like a necklace item just like this. And at the end it goes, I had you and you had me, love your husband. I can easily see a product like that. In fact, I'm almost positive I've seen ShineOn products selling with this exact phrase in the past. Okay. Next. So this one is in the pet niche. This is a dog tag. ShineOn's got this very same dog tag product. This is a keychain. We also offer this on a necklace. Now, Adrian's actually a huge animal lover, so it's too bad he's not here because I think he would have liked this product. So this product over on the left, you can see the ad had 140,000 likes, 10,900 comments, 28,000 shares. That's a boatload of shares. The item itself is a photo upload product. So the buyer could upload an image of their deceased, pet. And then the phrase says, when tomorrow starts without me, don't think we're far apart. For every time you think of me, I'm right here inside your heart. So you can see how this phrase is powerful. It's moving. It kind of rhymes. It's cute. It makes you remember your lost pet. I lost a pet just in October, and it's making me kind of think of her right now. And this is exactly the kind of phrase I'm talking about when I say, if they cry, they'll buy, right? You need phrases that evoke emotion. And if you can do that, people are going to be more likely to buy your product. Now, obviously, this is in the pet niche, probably not the best Mother's Day product, but that's not the point of this part. I'm just trying to get your head wrapped around what a phrase that moves somebody emotionally feels like and sounds like. Okay, let's check out this next one. We'll do that one. Okay, so this one is a bracelet, and the bracelet's got like a little cuff on it, and it says, remember who the F you are. F being a bad word there. Remember who the F you are. And then there's some text in the ad image that says, when the days get hard, don't let them win. Remember, breathe and remember who the F you are. And this is this is like an empowering phrase. You can see this being a phrase that maybe someone would gift their daughter, right? Maybe their daughter who just went off to college and is struggling maybe to, I don't know, adapt to this new environment. And it's like, when the days get hard, don't let them win. Remember, breathe and remember who the F you are. It's like trying to remind them like, hey, you've got this, right? Don't forget where you came from. You know, don't forget the things that you've been through. But you can see how the phrase itself is powerful. It's empowering. I can see how a parent would love to get something like this for their daughter. And again, this is another example of a phrase that can move somebody emotionally. It hits really hard, right? And I want you to, once we get to the product research section here, we're going to come across a lot of phrases that completely fall flat. And you're going to be able to contrast the phrases I'm showing you here that really do move you to the phrases that fall flat. And it's going to be a powerful learning experience for you. So stay tuned. Okay, next, we've got another keychain, right? This is another ShineOn product. And again, this is available in a necklace as well. You can see the ad did great, 90,000 likes, 9,000 comments, 28,000 shares. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, "To my grandson, I can't promise I'll be here for the rest of your life, but I can promise that I'll love you for the rest of mine. Wherever your journey in life may take you, always be brave and be strong. Believe deep in your heart that you are smart and capable of achieving anything your heart desires. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, always remember whose grandson you are," right? You can see how a grandparent who gets presented this ad would read this and go, that expresses exactly how I feel about my grandson, and maybe pick something up like this up. It resonated with an audience. You can see from all the social proof, right? You can see from all the social proof. Here's the last one I've got in this section of the training. You can see the ad over on the left, 67,000 likes, 850 comments, 6,700 shares. Let's read the message card on the right. So it says, "To my mom, to the world, you are just a mother, but to me, you are the world. You are my first home, the first place I ever loved. There are not enough words to describe how important you are in my life. I'm grateful for everything you've taught me. You're the best mom in the world. I love you forever," right? So you can see it's like deep, it's sentimental. If you're a son or even a daughter and you're struggling to kind of put into words how you feel about your mom, you can see how this might come in and just like bridge that gap for you, right? And you can see why someone might be interested in picking this up. So these are some examples of phrases that are clearly working, right? And I've got the proof. I've got the social proof here from these spy tools to show you that these phrases were resonating with an audience, right? So hopefully you're able to pick up on how these phrases were powerful. They provoked emotion, right? Which is the whole game when it comes to selling these kinds of products. If you can make somebody feel something, they're going to be more likely to pick up your particular product. So now let's talk about how you can find trending phrases, right? How can you find trending phrases? This is where all the product research starts to come into play. So what you need to do is you want to research what's working in your niche. So remember I said last time that for Mother's Day, the two biggest niches to go into are like "to my mom," obviously, for Mother's Day. And then "to my wife" is another huge niche for Mother's Day. And then I would say the third kind of largest niche for Mother's Day would be "to my daughter." But "to my mom," "to my wife," these are kind of no-brainer niches to focus on as we get into Mother's Day. And you want to research on the internet to see what's working in this particular niche, right? So here's some areas, here's some places you can go online to find winning phrases in this niche. So you have Pinterest, and I'm going to try to give you some. I'm going to give you some like over-the-shoulder training on this. You have Pinterest, you have Google Shopping. Hallmark is a great one. You just got to be careful you're not like copying the phrases or anything like that. You have Amazon. Amazon's a great place to go, believe it or not, to do some product research. You have Google Trends. Google Trends is good. Typically, it takes, you kind of got to know what you're looking for, really, when you go to Google Trends. Etsy is one of my favorites. You have Google Images, if I didn't say that before. One of these is Google Images and one is Google Shopping. eBay eBay is actually a really fun one because you can actually see in an eBay listing how many times that item is sold. I'll see if I can show you that in a little bit. Then you have Facebook, you have AdSpy. AdSpy is one of my favorite spy tools. All the screenshots I showed you a moment ago came from AdSpy. And then you have Shopify. You can actually look at other Shopify stores and see what's working in other Shopify stores. So before I get to the over the shoulder section, I do have a couple slides where I show you exactly how to do this. And I really made these slides just because I wanted, if you watch the replay of this or you need to pause and you want to take notes, I thought the slides might be helpful here. So I've got 3 slides. I'll go through them really quick. So for Pinterest, the way you want to use Pinterest is just treat it like a search engine. So log into Pinterest. Up there in the search bar, you want to type something like to my, and you would put mom, right? To my mom, and you can put to my mom necklace, to my mom canvas, to my mom gift, to my mom sayings, to my mom phrases, to my mom poems, anything like that, to return a bunch of images that have cute little sayings and stuff that are in that to my mom niche. Now, the way you know if the phrase itself is worth pursuing is if you see the phrase repeated, right? That's the key. If you see the phrase repeated on multiple images on Pinterest, usually that means that phrase is resonating with people enough and it's starting to spread, right? And that's kind of the key, that particular phrase is probably worth testing. So on Etsy, you can go to Etsy, again, treat it just like a search engine. To my wife or to my mom is going to be the search term you're going to want to use. And again, you can put to my mom, necklaces, mugs, posters, cards, anything like that that will return products that sell using words, right? And the way you know if one of these phrases is worth pursuing is, first of all, Etsy does a little bit of the heavy lifting for us. They'll actually tag some of the products as best sellers, right? That's an obvious clue. But another thing you can do is click into the product and look at the reviews. You want to see how many reviews the product itself has, but you also want to see how recent the reviews are, because if there are a lot of recent reviews, that tells you the product is trending. And I'm going to show you that in a moment. Etsy is going to be one of the areas I do some over-the-shoulder training on. And then finally, you have Google Images. So Google Images will work just like Pinterest, right? Where you're going to type in your search term, get a bunch of images back. And the way you know if the phrase is worth pursuing is you're going to see the phrase repeated multiple times in the search results. And you can see here in the screenshot, I've actually done that for you. I've highlighted those. So there are 3 kind of examples. Now I want to do some over-the-shoulder type stuff. So let me stop screen sharing for a moment and get my window up. And I'll pop over to Etsy. Okay. Now let me share my screen again. Okay. Okay, I'm screen sharing again. So let me blow this up so it's larger. Okay, that should be easy for everybody to see. Now I'm just going to do exactly what I just showed you. So I'm just going to type like to my mom. I'll start with to my mom necklace, right? But there's a bunch of different directions we can go with this. So to my mom necklace, you can see the ones I'm looking for are necklaces that have phrases, right? So ShineOn does offer like the name necklaces, like most of these products here we have, but the ones I'm really interested in are the ones with phrases, right? So you can see all this top row, these are ads. You can see that it says ad by Etsy seller. I'm probably going to skip the top row for now. And what I'm looking for is maybe a bestseller tag. Like this one says popular now, so that one might be interesting. We'll open that up. I'm going to put it in a new tab, and I'll visit that in a second. This one says popular now. That one might be interesting. Let's see, bestseller, but that's not a phrase. Okay. Here's one, another popular now one that might be interesting. And you can see I'm just kind of taking my time going through here. And I would encourage you to go slow and go deep as you move through here. Look, anytime you do product research, everybody's going to be searching the first 1, 2, 3 pages. You're going to find the really good stuff on page 3, 4, 5, 10, right? You want to go the distance that other people aren't going. Okay, I'm not really seeing anything else that kind of jumps out at me right now. This one's pretty good, actually. So I'm going to grab that one in a new tab as well. And probably this one too. And that will be it for now. Now I'm going to go up. I'm going to try a different search term. So this time I'm going to try like, you know what? I might just try to my mom real fast and just see what comes back. Again, the first row is ads. I don't really want to look at the ads. Okay. So these three products, I clicked them all before. So this must be like an algorithm thing. It's like showing me products I've expressed interest in before. This one here is a bestseller. Let's click on that one. Here's a journal. Letters to my mom, all the things I wish I could tell you, in loving memory of Amanda Hampton. So believe it or not, we also have journals at ShineOn. So I'm going to click that one. That one might be good. Some more journals. We got some acrylic. We have acrylic at ShineOn, so that's pretty cool. But again, I'm looking for kind of that bestseller tag. We have pillows at ShineOn as well. That's a pretty cool one. Yeah, I'm going to click it. We're going to click it. We're just going to look at it real fast. And again, most of what I'm doing here is I'm looking for phrases. Phrases are the key, I'm telling you. Okay, so I think now I'm going to shift gears a little bit because it's the algorithm is showing me a bunch of necklaces, right? Because it thinks that's what I want. So I'm gonna confuse the algorithm real quick. I'm going to put to my mom blanket. All right. I got some blankets coming back. Again, I'm looking for popular bestseller tags. Here's a popular one right now. It's got images on it though. And I don't think that's what I want to focus on right now, though you could easily do that with our products. Here's an Etsy pick. No, I'm not really seeing any bestseller tags on any of these. By the way, that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad, but for the sake of the training, I'm trying to make this easy for everybody. Okay, that's going to be it for Etsy. I want to leave myself time to go to Amazon or one of the other places. So I've opened a bunch of these into a new tab, right? Now I'm going to start going through them. So check this out. To my mother, on my wedding day, you held my hand for many years, supported me through joys and tears, and though I'm grown and on my own, my heart will always be tied to you. Thank you for unending support, guidance, patience, and infinite love. Today, a bride, tomorrow, a wife, forever, your little girl. So it is moving for sure. It definitely pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. I'm going to scroll down here, 173 reviews, but only 26 for this particular item. Now I'm going to look to see when these 26 are coming in. So it's March 25th right now. So we have a review on the 20th, the 19th, the 18th, and the 16th, all this month. So this is clearly trending right now, and we're just now moving into wedding season. So this actually could be doing pretty good. It really could be. So this might be worth testing. Actually, that's a good one. So I'm gonna go on. What I would be doing is taking this particular phrase and I'd be saving it in like a Google Doc, or I like to use Trello. And in our next training, I'll talk about building up what I call a phrase bank so that you can create phrases in the future. But for now, I'm just going to kind of close these for the sake of the training. So this one, to my mummy, I may just be a bump, but I love you more than you'll ever know. Please keep this close to your heart until I can meet you and rest in your arms. Love, kisses, and kicks from your tummy. 115 reviews on this. Again, it's March 25th at the time of this recording. The reviews came in on the 23rd, 13th, 11th, and then February 11th. So not as much review velocity on this one as the last product, but this still, there's elements of the phrase I might like, so I'd probably save it. Let's go to the next one. You get the idea here. So far, I'm just going to go look at the reviews. 29 for this item. They are all very recent, so that's pretty cool. Another on my wedding day type product. It looks like it's the same phrase as the one we looked at a moment ago. So this phrase is clearly working, and we are moving into the wedding season, right? So this isn't a Mother's Day gift, actually. That's kind of the funny part of this. This is actually for weddings. Let's keep going. This one I like. It's super freaking cute. 91 reviews for this item. The reviews are 3 of them are from March, so not quite the velocity I'd like to see. I bet you that picks up though as we get a little closer to Mother's Day. Baby, to my mommy. I may just be a little bump, but I love you more than you know. Please keep this close to your heart until I can meet you and rest in your arms. Kisses and kicks from your tummy. Another really cute one. It's in 12 carts. I actually kind of like this one. There are elements of this I'd probably keep in my phrase bank as well. This is the same phrase that we have seen now on 2 other top selling products. So hello, you've got the universe screaming at you that this particular phrase is probably worth testing. To my mother on my wedding day, you held my hand for many years, supported me through joys and tears, and though I'm grown and on my own, my heart will always be tied to you. Thank you for your unending support, guidance, patience, and infinite love. Today a bride, tomorrow a wife, forever. Your little girl, 1,242 reviews for this item. That is a trending product on Etsy, people. And if you look at when the reviews came in, we have 1 from today, 1 from the 23rd, 1 from the 7th, 1 from the 3rd. We're just now moving into wedding season. It's in 15 carts. I mean, hello, this phrase is clearly resonating with people. This one is probably worth doing some testing and pursuing. So, hey, I think we found some signal in the noise here on Etsy. I notice I'm like right at 30 minutes. Adrian likes to keep these to 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to very quickly show you Amazon and eBay. I'm going to very, very quickly, okay? Just because I want to give you as much value as I possibly can here. And then I will set us up for the next training, which probably isn't going to be next week, but potentially the following week. So here we are on Amazon. And what I'm going to type in here is just to my mom, and I'm going to put necklace. I'm going to put necklace, and you can see it's returning a ton of options. And what I'm going to do on Etsy is I'm looking for reviews, right? I'm looking for review count in particular. Typically, and this isn't a science, it's not guaranteed or anything like that, but typically like 1 out of 10 people leave a review. So if I like to take the review count, I multiply it by 10, and then I assume that's the volume of sales. Again, that's not guaranteed. This is just something that I do to try to gauge how popular a product is. So you can see right away, my eyes are drawn to this one here. It's had 8,000 reviews, so this one has done some damage. And then you also have this To My Best Mom one here that's had 302 reviews. Let's see, this one is 226. We'll look at that one. And I'm just moving quick here. And I'm specifically looking at the message card jewelry type product. So here's another one, 372 reviews. We'll leave it at that for right now. So this one says, Mom, for all the times I forgot to say thank you, for all the special little things you do, for all the words that sometimes go unspoken, always remember I love you. This is a perfect phrase, right? It rhymes, it's cute, definitely pulls at the heartstrings. 8,000 reviews on this one. It's like a cross that says mom on it. I mean, does it say mom? Or did it say something else? That looks like it says mom to me. But I swear these other ones look like they say faith. But no, it looks like they're all mom. So hey, that's such a cool product. But the phrase itself is really what you want to be latching onto and focusing on here with this particular one. Next, this is 302 reviews. To my best mom, to the world, you're a mother. To our family, you are the world. There are not enough words to describe how important you are in my life, and you continue to influence how I live mine. Thank you for loving me and always standing by my side. I love you, Mom. So again, this phrase is clearly finding a market. To my badass mom, whenever you feel inadequate, unworthy, or unloved, remember whose mother you are and straighten your crown. I love you. That one's great. Very powerful phrase. 226 reviews on this one. So that's a really good phrase that is probably worth testing. And then finally, here's another to my boyfriend. Oh, to my boyfriend's mom. That one's pretty unique. To my boyfriend's mom. So it's not the mother-in-law niche, but it's like the boyfriend's mom niche. I don't really know, but this might be good for Mother's Day. And I love that this is a unique niche because you probably aren't going to have a lot of competition in it. 372 reviews on this one too. So that's pretty amazing. I will forever be grateful to you because without you, I wouldn't have your son by my side. You've raised such a good, kind, solid man. He brings me so much joy. I'm happier than I ever dreamed I could be. I know it might be difficult because your love is unbounding, but I promise I will always try to match the love that you have for your son so that you can know his heart is always safe with mine. Oh, look, if you're so I don't get confused here. If you're a girlfriend, if you have a boyfriend and you're developing a relationship with your boyfriend's mom, so potentially your future mother-in-law, if I'm keeping all this straight, you may want to gift her a gift like this, especially if, you know, she's a special person and all that kind of stuff. So I can see how this works. 372 reviews, that's pretty cool. All right, last one. Let me show you eBay, and then we are going to wrap this up. Again, I've got to move quick here. I'm going to just, again, put to my mom necklace. You can do this with to my mom greeting card, to my mom blanket. There's all kinds of other to my mom coffee mug. You can do it with all other words that you can, or phrases that you can think of. It's a search engine after all. So have fun, do research. That's the whole point. So sort by best match. I think I'll leave it there. And then I'm just going to kind of pop open a few of these. Now, the cool thing about eBay is it can show you, sometimes will show you how many sales a product has. Where is it? Top rated plus. Oh, there is a way to do it. Sales. Let me check a few of these others. There you go. Look at that. 25 sold right there. So it'll say it right here next to your quantity selector. It'll show you how many times this particular item is sold. So this is a cool thing about eBay is you can kind of go through here and just click all of these and see which ones have the most sales. You can see this one doesn't look like it's had a lot of sales. This one's had 25. This one's had none. Look, let's read this one real quick. To my beloved daughter, you're the poem I dreamed of writing, the masterpiece I longed to paint. You're the shining star I reach for in my ever hopeful quest for a life fulfilled. You are my child, and everywhere you journey in life, you will go with my love. By your side, love, Mom. Remember, I told you the daughter niche is one of the big niches for Mother's Day. So that is pretty cool. I'm going to click open a bunch more of these real fast, and then we're going to move to wrap this up. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of these kind of at random, see if any of these are selling at all. Again, I'm doing this because of phrases. I'm looking for phrases that are moving. So this is sold one. This one is sold one. This one is not sold. 1 here, 5 here, 12 here on this one, 7 here. You got to go deep on this. I mean, Etsy really does have some gold. You just kind of got to dig for it because there's a lot on Etsy. But every now and then you're going to come across a product that sold a lot, And it's always exciting when that happens. So look, I hope you found today's training really helpful, right? The idea here is to print on demand. The words, the phrase on the product does most of the heavy lifting. It is the thing that drives a lot of the sales. So a very important part of print on demand is doing product research and knowing how to find those phrases that are trending and moving people emotionally. And then you want to take those phrases, you want to put them on unique print on demand products. Mother's Day, and for Mother's Day, jewelry is the perfect product to be doing that with. Jewelry is a huge seller for Mother's Day, and then greeting cards are a huge seller for Mother's Day, and message card jewelry combines the both. So it can be very, very powerful. So you want to find phrases that are moving people emotionally, do your product research, and then pair them up with jewelry products, test a bunch of them, and see if you can find one that trends and takes off for you. So I hope you found this helpful. In the next training, which probably isn't going to be next week, it'll probably be the week after that for me when I come back. Adrian's going to be here next week, but I'm coming back the week after that. When I come back, we are going to dive deep into how you write your own phrases and what you do with all of this research. And I've got a whole system around that to keep you organized and to help you test and to find what I like to call winning phrases. Okay, everybody. Adrian is moving right now. So he's not popping back in. He is going to be here next week, though, same day at 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday. Hope to catch you then. All right, everybody. Hope you had a great one, and we'll catch you later. Take care.